Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bad Flick Show. If it's your first time watching the show, let me give you a rundown of how it works here. I bring on some of my comedian friends. I show them the worst clips from just the worst movies that I can find, and they're kind of forced to joke and comment their way out of it. It's a lot of fun, everybody. And you should bring people in on the fun. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, go and share it with your friends. Bring more people in, and you also have the chance to comment, and we'll put your comments here on the screen there. Just the funny ones. That's really. But I am so excited about tonight's show. We have really great guests tonight. Let's bring a couple of them out here for you. First off, we have Greg Sabin.
Hello. Very nice to be here on the Bad Flick Show. This is appearance number 2. Very excited. Very excited. This time I have a good internet connection. You'll be able to hear me. I'll keep talking as long as I can. That's fine.
Sorry.
All good, all good. And our next guest, also from the Dare Daniel podcast, Corky Mcdonald.
I volunteer as tribute. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. I love this show.
Okay.
Fantastic, fantastic. And our special guest this week, I'm so excited about it. He's been doing comedy for 50 plus years, got like over 500 TV appearances, used to open for Frank Sinatra here, and just released a book, Still Standing, by Tom Driessen. Yeah, our special guest is Tom Driessen. Welcome in.
Hey.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm for one correction, I didn't open for Frank Sinatra. He closed for me. No, it's great to be on the show. This sounds like a lot of fun. Meeting Corky for the first time, and Brian, of course, and you, Alex, and Greg. An old vaudevillian once told me, "Don't tell me all the places you work. Tell me how many asked you back." So you've been asked back. So evidently you're pretty good on the show. So.
Yes, that's a good line. I'll remember that.
No, it's the truth. Some guy was bragging one night. This guy was way back 50 years ago when they had a little comedy room in Chicago. Some kid was bragging about all the places he worked, and this old man was like 92 years old. Walked up, we found out later he had been in vaudeville. But he said to the kid, "Don't brag about how many places you work. Brag about how many places ask you back." I said, "Oh, that's a good line."
Yeah, that is absolutely.
Reminds me of a Dexter Gordon story where he plays with his bass player. The guy's walking off the stage at the end. He goes, "Dexter, when's the last time we played together?" He goes, "Tonight."
Very good. Very good.
Oh, fantastic. Well, let's hop right into it with the bad movie clips here. This first one, it's I'd call it a little bit of a period piece. That period being 100 billion years ago, and from the movie 100 billion BC.
All right, here we go.
Marijuana, always popular.
Got weird sound mixing.
Right. No rhyme or reason. Yeah.
Run.
Go the other way, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Rock beats tongue every time.
It's a classic. It's a classic. Every bad film has either really bad costumes for the monster or that right there, which is like put your pet in front of a green screen and film it, and then that's the bad guy. That's why I laughed the whole time because I'm like, this is so bad. This is so bad.
I just like to imagine that cave guy was just walking around like, oh, look, it was a one-time thing. I was really drunk. Just be cool, you know? The lizard's like, why haven't you called me?
And, you know, I think he's running. First of all, the cave guy's gone back to the cave and said, Wilma, I don't care how much you like the Diamondbacks. We're leaving Arizona. I get the feeling that he was afraid that the lizard was going to eat him. He just wanted to know who does your hair. That's all he wanted to know.
Right.
Because the caveman had nice hair.
Right. Yeah.
I just kept thinking it's amazing the art you can make with a pet iguana and a 3-day pass to Zion National Park. It just really felt like they had maximized their national parks, and licensing be damned.
Right.
Yeah. I like the tongue that didn't quite match the color of the iguana's mouth. It was like two different, like it was real red and then all of a sudden not red. So someone had to make a tongue, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Someone had to make a tongue, which I respect.
See, my fear was when Alex said this is a film about 100 million years ago, that because it's my first time, you're going to have behind the monster a marquee that says, opening tonight, Tom Dreesen.
I wish I would have thought about that before the show.
Alex, did you say that movie is called 100 billion BC?
That's correct. Yeah.
There might be. I don't want to speak for the anthropological community and the archaeological community, whatever they call themselves. You know, I don't know how to be politically correct with these arcos. I call them arcos. They're going to probably get some doubters that man and giant green screen iguanas were cohabitating 100 billion years ago. I don't know if the Earth actually existed as a rotating ball 100 billion years ago.
Yeah, no, it did not. According to science, it's 5 billion years old, and it's going to be here 5 billion more before the sun destroys the Earth. The Earth is moving closer to the sun, and in 5 billion years, Earth will not look unlike Mars looks like right now. You know, and by the way, this is just a class for the kids at home. That, you know, there's nothing funny about it. What I'm saying.
Just facts.
I was about to say somebody needs to tell Betty White. You have to start worrying.
Amy says, yeah, the Earth was still flat back then. So, yeah.
Sure.
Yep, that's how it works.
Oh, fantastic. Well, before we get to our next clip, I always like to get to know the guests a little bit more here with our question of the week. This week's question is, what is one celebrity you would not want to go to the movies with? Corky, I'll let you go first.
Paul Reubens. Hey, can you hear me? There's definitely, you got to put a jacket in between you guys. And speaking of jacket, that's what he'll be doing the whole time. So you don't want to go to the movies with Paul Reubens.
Man, you had to dig deep into the 80s for that reference, man.
You know, I would have said Fred Willard, but I don't think that's as popular.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Probably.
Tom, what about you?
Well, first of all, for Corky, that's the old trivia question. Name two people who were shot in the back of the head in a theater, and the first answer is Abraham Lincoln, and the second is a guy who sat in front of Pee Wee Herman. And for you kids out there, I'm not going to explain to you what we're talking about.
Not that one.
I would not want to go to the celebrity I would not want to go to the movie theater with is Jennifer Aniston, and simply because when the lights go down low, I would be spending the rest of the night trying to get into her pants. To be honest with you, I'm being honest.
Very distracting from the movie, for sure.
Yes.
Fantastic. Greg, what about you?
Well, I thought about this, and then I thought with Tom on, there's a being so close to the chairman of the board, the leader of the Rat Pack. I was saying somebody I wouldn't want to see a movie with is one of actually my favorite performers, Sammy Davis Jr. This day and age, his rotting corpse would be distracting.
Jesus. God.
Two, I feel like Sammy was the most talented and entertaining person of the 20th century. And if you sat next to him in a movie, no matter how good or bad the movie was, he would just sit next to you and go, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Hold on. I can sing that. Hold on. I'll do this voice better than this guy is doing his own voice. And you'd just be like, just watch Sammy. Shh, just watch
A bit of trivia for you. Sammy Davis Jr., of course, had a glass eye. And Julie Rizzo, Frank Sinatra's bodyguard, had a glass eye. So one Christmas, Frank bought a set of binoculars, sawed it in half, and sent one to Julie and one to Sammy.
For like a second, I thought you were going to say that they swapped one night to see if anybody would notice.
That would have been better, yeah. And to get on the serious side, I toured with Sammy for 3 years, and you're right, Greg. I'd sit in the wings every night. It was like show business 101. There was never a performer like that. He was an amazing performer to watch, take command of a stage and just could do it all. He could sing as good as anybody out there. He could dance better than anybody out there. He could do comedy as good as any comedian I knew. He could do impressions better than the best impressionists out there. He could play the piano. He could play the drums. He could play the trumpet. He was an amazing performer.
Like me.
That's a great segue. That's a perfect
segue. I try. All right.
Well, yeah. Well, a good point. We'll keep it going with our next clip. Look, there's been so many famous creatures out there. You got your Alien. You got your Predator. Alien versus Predator, if you've seen those movies. But I bring you a new monster, a new monster to your attention, and that is Zoltar, the creature from Venus.
All right, here we go. Filmed at Pirates of the Caribbean.
Whatever you are, I've come here to kill you.
My ex-wife, they stole that line from my ex-wife.
Martha!
Is she ready?
Martha, run!
This is the cave of good lighting.
This movie's called Something Almost Happens.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's what you look like. Santar, you're slimy, horrible. Go on, try to control me. Use your intellect on me. You think you're going to destroy the world. I'll see you in hell first.
That's a line they stole from my ex-wife.
Martha!
What happened to her? Wait a second. What?
Zontar does what Zontar wants to do. So.
I don't know, but her eye was screaming the shit out of it.
Typical man, right? Honey, you go in the cave and I'll talk to you from the office. You go with the monster.
We set up this great new hi-fi system where we can really hear you real clearly. And, I mean, I can really see why Angie Dickinson doesn't want that on her resume.
By the way, all I could think of was she said, use your intellect on me, Zotar. And the monster has to say, okay, I'm going to use my intellect on you. If you're going to come into a cave with a monster, don't wear a dress that's red. It reminds us of blood.
Yeah, that's in the Star Trek line of clothes. The anybody in red is the obligation.
Right, yeah.
And then there's just one soldier just wandering in, like it's a violent, gritty reboot of Gomer Pyle.
That was going to be interesting. So he was probably AWOL wandering around. He heard a scream and he thought it was maybe the general having sex.
It really just could not get a handle on the whole Zontar being. Was it kind of a bat thing? Was it a double-eyed, hanging slime monster? I still don't feel like I know Zontar.
Sure.
But you were talking about Bud Friedman earlier, and that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it.
Beck wanted to know if she leaned in for a kiss at the end when she screamed, or was it somebody else said it looked like they were just sucking her brains out. So
I just do not know what the hell was going on with those guys, like in the solarium. And they had an entire AV system going on that they were just leaning on and pushing with like both hands. Nothing technologically made sense there.
no.
Well, she was probably a method actor, and when she asked the director, how should I react? And he's with that scream, and he'd say, just pretend you're having sex again with Tom Dreesen. That's what I thought. By the way, when we go off the air, I can't tell it on the air, but I'll tell you guys the funniest Angie Dickinson story you ever heard in your life.
All right, just end the show now because that's all I'm thinking about.
I can't do it on the air, I bet.
All right. Brian, let's cut the show. Let's.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Have a good evening. Support the comedy spot. Blah blah blah blah blah blah blah. Right? No, it didn't even work. Oh, there it is. Yeah, all right. My jokes are only 5 minutes off. So great timing.
All good. Well, yeah, we'll keep it moving here. We'll go on to the.
Amy says she's going to hack into my computer and eavesdrop on the conversation later on.
Oh boy.
Sorry about that, Alex.
All good. We'll keep moving to our next clip. It's December, so I'm trying to have at least one nice little, Christmas movie that we can revisit, see if it should have been a classic or not. And this week, I give you the trailer for The Magic Christmas Tree.
And this is number 3, right?
Number 3.
Number 3.
That's lovely.
Everybody's on their way to see The Magic Christmas Tree. It's a new family motion picture about a talking Christmas tree.
All right, boy, turn the ring and say the magic words.
Rimbum, Harry Noom, Ho, Hey,
then how can I answer you? Of course I can talk. Now,
And to add to the fun, there's a happy witch.
There's no
You
dialogue.
want to see the greedy giant. The runaway lawnmower. You want to see how Santa Claus is captured. See the magic Christmas tree.
Oh God.
Good thing they flashed that right off the bat.
Let that sit for a bit.
By the way, that I'm old enough to remember that movie. The lawnmower was nominated for Best Actor in the film. And by the way, the promo, we didn't have to see how Santa Claus was captured. We know how he was captured. The chair captured his big fat ass because he couldn't get out of there. Santa was about one cheeseburger away from the big one there.
Just the amazing thing that sticks out is how none of the people involved in that seemed to know that there was a camera running at the time they were doing whatever it was they were doing.
Yeah. They're always looking in the wrong direction.
Right.
I like to think that they were just wandering around and actually found that kid talking to a tree, just in the middle of the night, and said, "I can work with this."
Right. Put it in the movie.
Yeah.
I like how they made that kid enter a cult. You know, they're like, just turn your ring 3 times, and now you're a member of a cult.
I just
it's
expected
amazing.
to get his
Amazing
Christmas
how early
wish just to hear him go.
LSD got out there in the.
Wait, Greg, what'd you say?
I'm saying it's amazing how early LSD got out there in the marketplace.
And then Corky, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I just was expecting to hear that kid twist his ring and then like, can I go home now?
You get the feeling that that kid, when he went back to school after that movie came out, he just got the hell beat out of him almost every day on the playground.
Underneath trees.
He was talking it up for so long. I'm going to be in a Hollywood movie. Hey, you know what? I'm going to be in a Hollywood movie. All right, you're all going to be jealous when that movie comes out. And then it comes out. It's like, don't watch it. Don't look at it. That wasn't me. I did some things in my youth I wasn't proud of.
Yeah, well, anyhow, it was in the 70s, or I think the late 60s, and afterward, at the wrap party, they chopped up the tree and smoked it.
It was good to see that the lawnmower guy went on to do star in as made for TV commercials. Like, there's got to be a better way.
Yes, that's exactly what that was. Yes.
Ron here in the comments said, "You'll never get that tree to shut up." Well played, sir. Well played.
My wife and I just got our tree last night, and our usual Christmas tree lot was closed this year for COVID, and so we've been cheating on it with other lots, and we went to this one across the river in Yolo County, and it was very sad. So we moved on to another one, and the people who work Christmas tree lots are an interesting sort. Mm-hmm. Can I just put that out there? They're interesting, especially here in California. They come down from Oregon and try to bring their Oregon ways with them. And, I don't know, it's just a little off-putting. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't want to discredit anybody or offend, but we got away with our lives.
Somebody told me the other day on the email that they went to buy a Christmas tree here in LA and it was $300. I find that hard to believe. $300. When I was a kid, you could buy Wisconsin for $300.
Yeah, we had a friend of ours from LA say they went and got a tree this year, and she said it was expensive. She wouldn't tell us how much, because it was probably $300 and didn't want to tell us it was $300. You know. That's crazy.
I could get you a half pound of Christmas cheer for $300, wrapped in a little tight baggie, you know.
This is a true story. When I was a kid, I was like in 8th grade, and there was a guy selling Christmas trees, and I was going around asking for a job, and it was freezing cold in Chicago then, where I grew up on the South Side, and the guy gave me a job helping him sell these Christmas trees, and I really worked hard at it, and he was a drunk from Wisconsin. He brought the trees down from Wisconsin. He got drunk one night and never came back that night, and the next day, all the money I made, I had put in a cigar box, and I had to close the place up like at midnight, and I went home and I put the money in the cigar box and I gave it to my mom to watch. And the guy the next day asked around about me, and he came to my house. We lived in a shack of raggedy kids, but and he came in and he was really kind of pissed. And my mom, when he came to the door, my mom said, "Oh no, we have your money here." And he opened the door, and now the guy, I was like his new best friend, you know. And because I gave him all the money back, and my older brother beat the hell out of me for the next 17 days.
For the next 17 days.
For you comedians, 17 is funnier than 12.
Right. Something in it.
It's because it's prime.
That's right.
Oh, fantastic. Oh boy. Let's keep it going. We're gonna get to our next clip here. This is from a Turkish film, and I always enjoy. For some reason, it's like a gold mine for superhero movies. Like they do their take on like American superheroes. And this film is called Three Dev Adam, which translates to English as Three Giant Men. So you'll see some of your favorite superheroes here in this clip. Three Dev Adam.
Oh no! All right. Foley artists.
Get those steps.
Açın kapıyı.
Is that Lex Luthor?
I need to move.
You hear that?
Jimmy Smith on the Hammond B3 is
When you're a jet all the way.
Wow. Look at the toupee on that guy in a red jacket.
Well,
Wait, what?
is this the same movie?
Same movie. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Here he comes to save the day.
Clean edits. Clean edits from Dreesen.
I think he would have pulled that done earlier.
That's Captain Turkey.
Dead. Perfect.
Wow. That was amazing. Marvel is just churning them out. It's just amazing.
You know what? That looked like every Irish Italian wedding I ever went to in my old neighborhood. Oh boy!
So was the one guy Captain Turkey? I mean, he had the star on his chest, like
Yeah,
Captain
so
America.
the three like main superheroes. So Spider-Man is actually a bad guy. He's got like a gang, and then the guy that was getting shot at, that was supposed to be Captain America.
Oh.
And the third is Lucha Libre legend El Santo. So that's how powerful.
I didn't see Spider-Man. I saw Roach Man. You saw Roach Man? Yes, he had a roach insignia. The lights came on and he scattered. That's why he got
I always get a big kick out of the films that you punch a guy in the face as hard as a 6'5" man punch. He ain't getting up. You ever get punched in the stomach? You ain't gonna get punched in the stomach 4 or 5 times and get up and continue the fight. You're just not. I'd always marvel at that. I boxed when I was in the Navy. At one time, I wanted to be a fighter, and then they put me in the ring one night with a guy who really wanted to be a fighter.
Oh no!
That was the end of that dream.
See those phrase, never get between an asshole and his dreams.
Amen. Amen.
I like the.
I love that Spider-Man is just bringing this woman down. Like, hey, want to check out the fight? Want to catch the fight tonight? Yeah, come with me. Hey, ooh, look at that. Hey, that's pretty great to watch. Oh shit, you got shot.
Right.
And then he ran. He actually ran.
Yeah.
You know why he ran? He said I've never seen two men dance together before, and he ran out. They didn't look like they were fighting; they looked like they were dancing. You know?
Right.
Yeah. The early fight choreography looked like this. It was just like,
Yeah. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
There is no way that somebody didn't get massively hurt doing that, though. Like, those guys were flinging themselves on every side of that stage, and that looked like a lot of hard surfaces. It wasn't like there was a lot of soft foam core going on there.
They did have tires hung on the wall, which I think were their kind of like OSHA way of helping stuntmen out.
yeah. At least you won't die hitting this wall. Yeah, that was entertaining, Alex. Yeah.
That was Turkish.
Turkish.
Yeah, Turkish. Yeah. From I believe I put the year 1973 on that one.
Oh, I think your camera just froze up.
Oh no.
I'll try to fix it.
Oh boy.
Nope, but still.
Nice. Yeah, no, just put it back to Alex. We'll just watch Alex.
Brian, you are the Sammy Davis Jr. of live streaming. And when I say that, I mean it's just that you can't see the left side of the screen.
All right, hold on. I gotta try to fix this camera. You guys just talk amongst yourselves.
Sure.
Alex, they can still hear you, Alex. By the way.
Okay. Right, can't song.
Yeah, you sound great, Alex. Really, I mean,
thank you.
You sound great.
Alex, this is the best you've looked throughout the whole show.
I just am glad they finally got some youth on this show. You know what I mean? It's just.
Hey, I'm back. All right.
Hey.
There he is.
This is the second show I've been on, and this is the third now Turkish clip I've seen. Is every week? Is there a Turkish clip?
No, but it's definitely a gold mine. It's a gold mine for bad cinema. So.
Oh, wait, Greg, you said you wanted to see another Turkish clip? You said you wanted to see Turkish Jay Leno? Is that what you said?
No,
Well,
I
will give it to you now. Here it is.
God, no.
Yakışıklı erkekler de geliyor.
Turkish shake-it-up.
Güzel. İlk önce siz vurdunuz. Prensibimdir. Bana vurmayana vurmam. Şimdi size bir iyilik yapacağım.
At what point when you're rehearsing this, do you say, one more punch?
Hadi şöyle durun bakayım, şimdi katır tekmesini yiyeceksiniz.
Yes.
By the way, that was Jay Leno keeping comedians off of his show.
I just imagine that the whole time he's just saying, I told you guys, no shoes, no shirts, no service.
He asked him to wear a mask in the store, and they're like, no. And then he has to beat the shit out of them.
Took their shirts off.
How do you say, I love my freedom in Turkey? Turkic? Is it Turkic? Turkish? I don't know.
I don't know.
Did you know? Okay, so that we of course, in English we call a turkey, the animal, a turkey, and that the country is named Turkey as well, and that there are other countries, it's languages for whom there's like a weird like an animal language thing, and so in one language, a Peru is a turkey. And yet there's Peru, the country. And yet at the same time, in that same language, Peru also means penis. So look it up. That's all I'm saying. There's a whole world of exciting things to learn out there.
Ladies
By
and
the way,
gentlemen. Go ahead, Tom.
that's a word. That's a word men do not use. That's a female word. Men, you never hear a man say penis. That's a female word, you know. Because penis sounds like teeny, so we don't say that. You know? We like to say schlong because it rhymes with long. You know.
Greg found that out the hard way.
Oh, God. By the way, this has been another edition of Greg's Penis Facts. Sorry.
Oh boy. All right.
Please tell me somebody screen grabbed Greg giving the thumbs up over Greg's penis facts. Because I got T-shirts I need to make this weekend.
When I was in the Navy, honestly, we had a chaplain. I'm not making this up. The chaplain, he wrote a handbook that he passed out. We were out at sea. We were in the Antarctic for 66 days. He had a little handbook he passed out called "Masturbation: The Devil's Handshake."
I know why I'm not religious.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's great.
Man.
I feel invigorated.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's nothing to do but get to our last clip here. A lot of fighting on the show. This next clip has that as well. Something I think everybody's learned from this show is you don't mess with ninjas, okay? And you'll see that here in the movie Enter the Ninja.
Enter the Ninja.
And this is not a porn, is it?
There it is.
Starring the Turkish Craig Ferguson.
Ninja! I've got to go! I'll shoot her if you don't show yourself now!
Just one moment, Mr. Parker. Ninja, listen, I really do want to talk to you, and I don't want to kill a girl. Don't let her go.
I think I've been hurt, sir.
flight. Yeah, keep going.
Uh-oh. Ricardo Montalban is pissed.
So there you are.
Perhaps we'd better give in, sir.
Now we can talk. If you want your Mr. Parker alive, you better listen to me.
Who said I wanted Mr. Parker alive?
But, sir.
But, sir.
Now,
Great last
wait,
word.
wait, Ninja, wait. Why don't we speak like civilized men? You are a ninja, a hired assassin. Why don't you come to work for me? A position has become vacant.
I'm not for hire.
Then what were you doing working for Frank Landers?
He was my friend. You killed him, and now I'm gonna kill you.
That's all, folks.
Oh, that's great. So
Wow.
good.
You know who the actor, the great actor of that is? Mr. Parker. Whoever played Mr. Parker. Here's a guy got an arrow shot through his wrist. He never winced. Then he got shot in the heart. He never said, ow. He got an arrow through his wrist. Yeah. And I believe that Sean Connery behind, it looked like Sean Connery behind the ninja thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What an actor. But do you think that the lead, and I know his name, I knew him, by the way, and I knew his wife, but the lead, that he was that he liked Ed Flanders or something, because he said, then why were you friends with? And he goes, Ed Flanders. Said that very effeminate like that. He paused, and he thought of Flanders naked, you know.
Right.
Ed Flanders. You know.
He had
Just a
little,
friend. Just a friend.
He had a little Paul Lynde in his delivery. It's hard to be evil
Yeah.
when you're like, hello.
Now, if you could shoot Mr. Parker dead through the heart, why couldn't you shoot Ninja through the head at the same time? I mean, wait till Ninja kills you.
I love that he calls him Ninja. Like, excuse me, Ninja. I mean, it's just like me like opening the door. Excuse me, garbage man. If you could stay still, mail carrier. I would like to just. Hey, Ninja, you and me. Like,
That was so weird.
I mean, he's a ninja. He's a silent dealer of death, but at least he's taking COVID serious, you know?
Masked up all
Like,
the time.
nobody else has a mask on. He's social distance.
Well, he was a psychic. He saw it coming. That was many years ago.
Just at the beginning, seeing that woman just going down those stairs, I'm like, Oh, yep, going around, and then somebody grabs you. Okay. Now we're moving away from that. Got it. Fact. It's a brilliantly made film. De Palma's best.
I'm not. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Corky.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, he referenced his friend. And I was like, do ninjas have friends? Is there like ninja camp where they all meet up? They work on their stars and their
Who's your little ninja? Who's your turtle dove? Now, trivia, I'm not going to ask Alex or Brian because they know the film, but Corky and Brian, or Greg, do you know who that lead was? The guy who got killed in the end, do you know who the lead was?
No.
No, I knew him real well. His name was Christopher George. He died years ago. He had a series on called The Rat Pack or something like, not The Rat Pack, no, The Desert Rat, whatever. And it was about tanks in the desert. And he was married to a former Miss America named Phyllis Day George. And I did a TV special with her, and he came to it, and it was about a movie, The American Hot Wax. They did a TV special, and they did a movie that was one of the worst movies you ever saw in your life, and Jay Leno was the lead in it.
I'm gonna write that down. That might be a clip for
American Hot Wax. Yeah,
Hot Wax. Was it about cars? I'm imagining.
It was kind of more about the 50s, about that kind of era, because Happy Days was such a big hit at the time. But we were at the rap party, and anyhow, Christopher George was there, and he was a pretty tough guy in real life, and all the stars were there, and Rod Stewart was behind us, and Rod Stewart started passing around cocaine. He said, "Hey mate, you guys want some of this blow?" And Christopher George turned on him, and he called him every name in the book. "You no good piece of, you punk, and you bring that crap out here, and the cops are going to come in here, and they're not going to believe that all of us had something to do with that. How dare you risk our, careers?" And meanwhile, Rod Stewart said, sorry mate, I'm just sorry. And he backed out of the room, and and he didn't pass out the cocaine, and like 40-something actors wanted to beat the hell out of Christopher George.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, tell him, but behind their back, they're like, shit, we're not getting any blow tonight.
Oh, yeah. And Christopher and Rod Stewart, you can bet it was some good blow. It wasn't street blow.
You're like, Chris, read the room.
Was it called Rat Patrol? Rat Patrol?
Rat Patrol, yeah.
Yeah, Ron pulled it out in the comments there. Nice. Nicely done.
Yeah, it's called Rat Patrol.
Was there ever a movie that Jay Leno was in that was good?
No, he did another movie. By the way, Jay Leno, in my life, I've never seen Jay bomb. Jay Leno was the comic that everybody went in to see at the Comedy Store when we were all working there, Letterman, all of us. When Jay was on, Jay scored all the time. But he went to London one time and he did a movie with Michael Caine, I think. He did they saw him at the Improv and they cast him in this real bad movie, another bad movie. And Jay was over there for like 4 months. And when he came back, I saw him bomb one night at the Improv. He hadn't been on stage in all that time. And the first time he went up, he was all out of sync. And all the comics come running in because we never saw Jay, going to the tank. and so we were in the back laughing because no one else was laughing, right? We knew he was going in the tank. So Jay came up with an ad lib. He said, for you folks who don't know who that is in the back laughing, he said, it's kind of like in the jungle when the rabbit gets his paw caught in the trap, and then all the other animals in the jungle come and eat him. That's what he said. That's how comedians are when one of us is bombing, and he was absolutely right because no comedian wants to sit around with a bunch of other comedians and hear you tell about you got a standing ovation and how you killed them. They want to know. Tell me the night you went in the tank, man, when you really bombed so bad. That you actually wet your pants and we love those stories. We bomb. I was bombing so bad when I was at the Improv. There was 17 people in the audience. I was working on the new Tonight Show, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And the audience was scattered, 17 people. But in the darkness, every time I would do a line that would barely get a laugh, a guy in the back would tag the line. He would holler something out in the darkness that got a bigger laugh. So I'm not lying. Every time I did a line and get a small laugh, he'd do a line, got a bigger laugh. And this was going on, and I couldn't see the guy. But finally, I did a line, got a small laugh. He did a line, got a bigger laugh. And I did a line on top of that got the laugh of the night and big applause and everything. And I should have left the guy alone. But my ego, I stepped out under the light and I looked into the darkness and I said to the guy, just between you and me, I won that one. And from the darkness, he said, just between you and me, you needed it. Later on, I went outside when the show was over. I went outside. Nice guy. I remember he was from Aurora, Colorado. And I said, "Are you a comedian?" "No." I said, "Are you a comedy writer?" He said, "No." And I said, "Do you write?" He said, "No." I said, "I just was having fun. I hope you don't mind." I said, "No, listen. Hey, here's my card. Send me some material." There you go. And I never heard from the guy again. He was the best.
Huh. That's like a dream come true. Like people who heckle shows, I'm sure are like, I'm going to go to the show and say some funny stuff, and the comedian's going to like me so much, he's going to want me to write for him.
Right.
Like, no, that should never be the case. But like that was this guy's dream, and then he wasted it. All he had to do was submit some material.
I got to tell you, today, I think it's every time I've ever gone into a comedy club, and I never worked comedy. I was lucky. I worked at a comedy store, and once in a while I'd go try out some new material. But I went from there into Vegas, but where there were hecklers. But also the nightclubs I worked before comedy clubs came, there was always hecklers in those audiences, you know. And most of the comedy clubs you go to now, they make an announcement up front: no heckling the comedians, you're ruining the show for everybody else and stuff. But I was on Phil Donahue's show one time, and a woman said, she was asking about, it was 5 comedians. And she said, if you guys ever, did you ever bomb? And I told her, I said, ma'am, we trained in bombing.
Yeah, if you're doing this, you have bombed. Yeah.
But hecklers, I mean, you better learn how to handle heckler. The clubs that we worked in, and I worked all black clubs in the North and the South. When I was with Tim Reed, we were what they call affectionately the Chitlin Circuit, black-owned, black-operated nightclubs. Mm-hmm. The Sugar Shack in Boston, the 20 Grand in Detroit, the High Chaparral in Chicago, the Club Harlem in Atlantic City before they had gambling. And I tell you, black audiences, they react to what you're saying. What you say. I just got in St. Louis. Some guy will holler out, my brother lives in St. Louis. And if you're not funny, they'll tell you that too, Richard Pryor's funny than you,
I like how all the white people on the show got real quiet for a second just to see where this was going to go. We're like, oh! Like, I don't know if we're allowed to laugh.
And that's the problem with. I got an album out in front of an all-black audience called "That White Boy's Crazy," and I did because I worked black clubs. I grew up in a black neighborhood. I played basketball on an all-black basketball team. I played football on an all-black football team, and I did routines about that in my earlier Tonight shows and all that stuff. And everywhere I'd go, white people would come up to me and say, "Do black people laugh at your material?" And I'd always say, "What color is laughter?"
Yeah,
right. What color is laughter?
Right.
And so I went and did an album in front of an all-black audience at a club called Benji's on the south side of Chicago. And every time a white person would come up and say, "Do black people laugh at your material?" I'd reach in my pocket and pull out a CD and say, "Give me $12.99 and go home and find out for yourself."
There you go. Now, Tom, I did have a question. So. In opening for Frank Sinatra, we were talking about heckling and things like that. Like, was that ever a thing in these, big arenas and things like that? Like, were they maybe more of a polite audience, or did you ever, or did they heckle? Did they heckle?
Well, when you open up an arena with Frank, it was 20,000 people. When you go out in front of 20,000 people, first of all, when I talk to young comedians, I tell them, if you're in a big room, and some guy up front is giving you a bad time heckling something, and it's a big room, don't ditch your show for this jerk.
Right.
But if it's a small room and 85 people or something like that, and some guy hollers something out at you, you're going to have to react to him because the audience heard it. Mm-hmm. But whatever that person says to you, if you're going to deal with them, you repeat it back through the microphone. For 2 reasons. One reason, it gives you a chance to think. And the second thing is you want to give this guy, first you want to qualify him. He might be a nice guy. He might be saying nice things. Like the guy he wasn't an heckler, he was a nice guy. So it might be a nice guy saying, "We love you," and you thought he said, "Go to hell,"
Sure, right.
So what you do is you qualify him and you give him so much rope. Now when the audience realizes this guy's a jerk, a real jerk, now when you nail him, they're on your side. Mm-hmm. So you got to bring them along a little bit. But with Frank, 20,000 people, I'm not going to ditch a show, or even in Vegas, if there was only one time at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, I went out and I was doing my set, and I wasn't 3 minutes into the show when a guy in the back hollered out as loud as he could, "Where's Frank?" And I said, "He's outside looking for your manners." And Frank liked that line that shut him up. And another time I got to tell you, in Vegas at the Riviera, and I'm sorry guys because I'm dominating this conversation.
No, this is great. We're good.
But in Las Vegas, I was working the Riviera. At that time, I was opening for Tony Orlando and Don. And I was working the Riviera, and there was a guy down front, and I'm Italian, so we call these guys gavones. He was a gavone, He's sitting down front with his feet like on the stage, and he had beads and chains around his neck, an Italian guy, and he had a girl on each side of him. you know, and it was a big room. So every time I'd work a little stage left, a little stage right. Every time I got near his table, the girls would be laughing. He'd say, "You like this guy? This guy sucks. Can't believe you like this guy. This guy sucks." And I just looked at him, and I'm not going to ditch a show for this guy. I'd go to the left, and I'm working the crowd. And every time I got stage right where he was at, he'd say, "I can't believe you like this guy. This guy sucks. I can't." They're going, "Oh, Tony, be quiet. Oh, I can't believe you like this guy. Sucks." Now, I didn't pay attention. I kept my show. I finished my show, got a nice round of applause. I said, "Good night, everybody." And you go stage left, and you take a bow. I'd go center stage, take a bow, and then my last bow was stage right, and then I'd exit. So I got right over his table, and people are applauding. I knelt down, and I said to the girls, "You like this guy? This guy sucks." And I said, but then that night after the show in the casino, I kind of kept looking over my shoulder.
Oh, man.
Hey, Tom, can we convince you maybe to come on at a later date and maybe just tell a couple more stories about your life doing comedy? Is that something we might be able to convince you to do?
Well, if Corky, Greg, and Alex pass the hat, Brian, and you know, we get a little cash in there.
Pass the hat to me? Am I the one paying?
I'll tell you guys, you guys will appreciate that you're comedians. This is what it was like opening for Frank Sinatra in a 20,000 seat arena. If I were to say to you, Corky, Brian, or Alex, or Greg, this is your assignment. You know, when I toured with Frank, I had already toured with Sammy and other people, but I never worked in front of 20,000 people. In Hawaii, we did 40,000 people. So that's, you know, if you do a 30-minute set at the Laugh Factory tonight, and the next night you did that same exact material in front of 20,000 people, it takes on a totally different dynamic, as you know, you comics. But this is your assignment. It's 5 minutes before showtime. I was at the Nassau Coliseum the first time I opened a big show for him. And the road manager, Hank Catania, was giving me my assignment. This is your assignment. I say, Greg or Corky or whoever, I said, I want you to go out there. There's 20,000 people out there, and you're in the round. They're not proscenium in front of you. They're behind you, all around you. So what I want you to do, guys, I want you to go out there, and for the next 40 minutes, I want you to hold their attention. There's 20,000 people out there. Oh, one more thing. I want you to hold their attention, but I want you to make them laugh for the next 40 minutes. Oh, one more thing. I want you to hold their attention and make them laugh, but I want you to make them laugh when you want them to laugh. I want you to pull the strings on the emotions of 20,000 people. No props, no tricks, no charts, no special arrangement, no special orchestra, no special lighting, nothing, just you and 20,000 people. And one more thing, not one of them came to see you.
Right. A cakewalk. Perfect. Yeah.
Have fun.
If you could both cakewalk and piss your pants.
Right.
Well, but I got to tell you, what I did, I fortunately I had been around for a while. I'd done a lot of shows and stuff. So I knew that if I go out there, I'm not going to do my A material from Jump Street. If there's 20,000 people in the arena, 2,000 or 3,000 are still trying to find their seats.
Right.
Sure.
So you got to bring that. You got to bring that attention to you now, right here, center stage, me, without doing material. So what I would do, I always do the first joke on you. The joke is on you, but I would go out and I say, "How many out there applaud? I want you to applaud. How many of you out there thought Frank was coming out?" Because first of all, the lights would go down low, and the orchestra pit would go bum, bum, bum, bum. People thought Frank was coming, and then they say, the comedy side of our show, and people, "Oh, Jesus," moaning all through people. So I would go out there and I'd say, "How many of you out there? I want you to applaud. How many of you out there thought Frank Sinatra was coming out? Applaud." And they applauded. And I said, "I know just how you feel. I'm a little bit disappointed myself." Now, that joke was on me. But then I'd say, "How many of you out there are in this arena for your very first time? Applaud." And they'd applaud. Notice I didn't say raise your hand.
Yeah.
I said applaud. I said, "How many of you out there are seeing Frank Sinatra live your very first time? Applaud." And they'd applaud. I'd say, "How many of you out there aren't wearing any underwear? Applaud." Whatever. They'd applaud. Now, I talk, you react. I'm talking to people behind me, around me, getting them to get focused on this stage. I talk, you react. I talk, you react. Applaud. You know, like I said, they'd say raise your hand. And then I would do 2 or 3 jokes about the local area. I'd write something about that area that they could relate to, and then I would go into my A material. But first, if you went out there with your A material from Jump Street, it's going to go right in the tank.
Yeah.
You got to first bring the focus to that in that big of arena, you know.
That's good.
This is amazing.
Masterclass. That is masterclass right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually I just go out and say something about farts, and then it doesn't work.
Just apologize the rest of the set.
Sorry, and then I leave real slowly.
I would love to come up to Sacramento sometime, guys. I do motivation talking for corporate America and for colleges and high schools and universities. But I also give one to comedians called "The Joy of Stand-Up Comedy and How to Get There." And it's a motivational talk. If you've been in the business 5 minutes or 50 years, it's just about our profession and the joy of it. As you know, because so many of our people, don't enjoy this journey.
Yeah.
They have a very tough time. I've known 5 great comedians who committed suicide.
Yeah.
And another 25 who killed themselves with drugs and alcohol, and they were funny people. So that my talk is encouraging, enlightening, and talking about this wonderful profession that we're all in.
When this is all over, and this is for real, I'll make sure that I get through to Alex, and we will invite you when COVID, not the show, when COVID is all over. We definitely want you to come to Sacramento. We'd love to have you. Sacramento's a great comedy town. And believe it or not, it's a great comedy town. And we'll definitely bring you up here to do a talk, because I think a lot of comedians would benefit by hearing you. Thanks for doing the show tonight too. Absolutely. Alex, I don't know how you do it.
Just email. That's all. No secret. And
do you want to?
All right, let's tell him the truth. Alex has got a picture of me with a goat.
You too? Weird.
And if you pay the low price of $599, you can see this.
I bought a copy of that.
When you shut off, though, I do want to tell you that one story. When we shut off, I can't tell it on you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You want to play
One more time. Tom Driesen's book. You can get it anywhere where they sell books. There, Amazon, or local bookstore. But it's still standing by Tom Dreesen. My journey from streets and saloons to the stage and Sinatra.
Nice.
It's really great.
Yeah. It's Amazon.com, and I'm really happy. It's got like 125 or 30 5-star reviews now. It's doing real well, and I think comedians would enjoy this because they'll identify with a lot of the journey as well. But anyway, that's it. But tell me when we're off the air so I can tell you one more story.
It's so tough. Like, I don't want to stop the show because this has been fantastic. This is such an amazing time.
Yeah, everyone in the comments is saying the same thing. They're like, "This is so great. Yeah. This is so great. This is so great."
Right. We'll wrap this up here. Once again, Tom, thank you so much for doing the show, and also Greg and Corky. You guys are fantastic as well.
As my grandmother would say, for sure.
But super fun. We'll catch you guys again next week at 6. And as always, we have Movie Libs at 7:30.
All right. Good night, everybody.
We'll see ya.